I'm now delighted to be joined by Sarah Anderson, who is the Principal People Scientist for Sage and has over 13 years' experience in quantitative research. She previously led benchmarking research and the development of online database tools at Bursin by Deloitte. And Sarah began her research career in CEB in the HR practice. She's a prolific speaker on the topic of people analytics, people science and HR insights. Hi Sarah, and thanks for joining us today. Over to you.
Hello, and welcome to 4 Steps to Better People Analytics. My name is Sarah Andreessen, and I will be your speaker today. A little background on who I am. I am the principal people scientist at Sage. I work on an internal team here called Sage AI Labs, and I'm responsible for building AI, machine learning, analytics into Sage's HR products. I have an extensive background in people analytics, HR products, research, and all of those things. And today I will be your speaker to talk about people analytics. Our agenda today going to be really quick because we're doing this 15-minute lightning talk. Really quickly, just set a little context for this conversation. From there, we'll talk about 4 steps to better people analytics, and then what steps you can actually take. So we'll focus on a few things that you can do right away to get better at people analytics. So to begin, the context. Don't want to spend too much time here as I feel like all of us have had a little bit of pandemic overload after the last 18 months, but want to acknowledge how the world of work has really changed overnight. And, HR has been on the front lines of this change, and it continues to change and evolve. So while, we have a lot of light at the end of the tunnel is still long and there's a lot of uncertainty. And HR is going to continue to be on the front lines when it comes to this. HR has been helping enabling connected and productive work, delivering on effective employee communication strategies, keeping employees engaged and motivated, dealing with unseen employee sicknesses and absences, all of the things around, how to change your absence policies when it comes to the coronavirus, how you can change your workforce scaling up and down really quickly as we go through various phases of opening and closing and waves and pandemics. And then really making sure that we're taking care of people as we're doing this and making sure people are getting paid accurately, managing the well-being of the workforce and engagement, and, really reacting to all the regulatory changes. So all of this is really added to HR's workload, but also really given HR a seat at the table, as we have been the ones that have really been helping organizations as part of that. And so I want to just set this context because I think it's important as we talk about people analytics and how important people analytics is in times of uncertainty to really be able to come to the table with data. Our new research, and I'll have a link at the end of this for an ebook that you can take a look at. So there's an abundance of HR data, but not enough HR insight. And this is a really, really important point. We've gotten to the point with, technology and, all the things that we're doing that we do have HR data, and a lot of us have a lot of HR data. When we asked business leaders, 94% said they had access to some form of people data from HR. Unfortunately, 68%, almost 70 there, of leaders were not heavily reliant on that data. So we're providing that data, but the leaders aren't able to do anything with it. And 40% said or 38% said they're not fully satisfied with HR's ability to provide insights and recommendations on this data. And 62% said they're not able to use this data to predict the future. So while we've gotten to the point that there is some data around, the data is really not starting to add value in the way that we want. And that's where we come into quickly just talking about our 4 steps for how you can get people analytics right. Step number one, people data collection. This is a step that a lot of people tend to overlook, and it is one of the most important parts, and it's the foundation for anything you do with people analytics. And you may say, "Well, Sarah, you just told me there's an abundance of data," and that's true. But just because there's a lot of data doesn't mean it's high quality, real time, accessible data that's well managed. And so this first step is really ensuring that you have that you build a really high quality data foundation that can be used within your organization, that you can build good analytics on top of. Because it comes down to it. If you don't have high quality data foundation, then your analytics are going to be worthless. You need to have that high quality data foundation in place to be able to build good people analytics on top of it. And so don't forget and skip over this step and just jump straight into the analytics. Make sure the data that you're going to be analyzing is the data is high quality data, it's real time, is accessible, it's all in one place. We like to call it the single source of truth that you're able to build your analytics on. So that's step one. Step two, people data reporting. You really need to have a strategic approach to how you report data. Often, when we hear of all the senior leaders saying there's tons of data out there, the problem is we just give our leaders these giant board packs with, 60 pages of various metrics. Instead of actual insights. And so, what we need to be able to do is be very strategic about understanding who needs what information, when do they need it, how are we going to deliver it, how are we make sure it's easy for them to access in real time when they need it to make decisions. And when you're able to do that, then you're really able to ensure that you have a strategic approach to how you're doing reporting. And with that strategic approach, you can ensure that you're not just reporting information, but you're actually reporting information in a way that it's really usable to the business, usable to other people within HR, and ensures that they can actually make it to drive decisions, as opposed to it just being out there and not necessarily being leveraged at all. So that's number two, people data reporting. Step three, people data analysis. So you've got your solid, high quality data foundation in place. You've taken a strategic approach to building some reports. Now it's when it starts to really get fun. Now it's when you get to go from just reporting information to actually starting to have some analysis and some insight. This is when you start to pull together multiple pieces of information and start to understand those hidden patterns and emerging trends. Instead of just looking at, your turnover rate, you start to look at your turnover rate and how it's changing by time, or how it varies by different types of talent within your organization, how it varies for new hires versus, people who are established in the organization. Those are the types of things where you start to really understand more about your data and are starting to understand the relationships between various things and start to uncover the why. That you start to know what's going on, what might be driving some of the things that you care about within the data, and that's how you start to identify unknowns within your organization that you can really address with various HR programs. So that's step three. Step four, people data insights. And this is our last step. And this is where you really take it to that next level. You start to have hypotheses and predictions around what might be happening within your organization. You might do some experiments. You might start to obtain feedback from various stakeholders within your organization, understand how things are working, have a approach to really improving the insights that you're providing to people. Start to look and say, okay, well, we have a problem with sales training. We think we have a problem with sales performance. We think that this training is really going to help our salespeople perform better. That's a hypothesis. So then you test that. You deliver this training to a group of your salespeople and see like, okay, well, does their performance actually improve afterwards? And that's how you're actually started to go from, just having some data to really making a difference within the organization, being able to show the relationships between, engagement, performance, retention, attraction, all of those things that are really interconnected. When you start to use data in this way, you're really able to extract those actionable insights that help you make better decisions and really start to design better solutions. So those are our 4 steps. We had people data collection. You have to really start your journey there and ensure that you have that single version of that truth, your high quality data foundation. From there, your strategic approach to data and reporting and metrics, ensuring that that you are delivering the right information to the right people at the right time. Uh, then step 3, start to understand and uncover the why and the what. Doing a in-depth analysis, tying different pieces of information together, looking at trends within your data, and then finally, really focusing on those insights, being able to deliver actionable insights that really help drive decisions within your organization. So those are our 4 steps to better people analytics. And from there, I want to talk a little bit about what your next steps would be. How do you move forward with this in your organization? And a really important part of that is really choosing a system that enables you to deliver impact through insights. And this is really, really important. If you're still working with Excel spreadsheets and have your data in various places all over, or maybe an on-premise system that's really hard to access, it's going to be impossible for you to deliver those actionable insights to the people that need them when they need them, if you don't have the underlying technology that really enables you to do that, that enables you to bring all of your information together and be able to use it the way that you would like. As I mentioned, we have a full ebook with all of our recent research on people analytics, a lot of really good data into the current state of people analytics, how organizations are using different metrics, the data that we talked about earlier about, all of the C-suite having access to data, but not necessarily being able to be reliant on it to make decisions. All of that is in our ebook, and I really encourage you to go and download that ebook and take a look at some of the information that we have. If you're making a case within your organization for people analytics, this is a really great place to start because there's some really good information in there around the current state of people analytics and how various HR departments are approaching people analytics and the value that it can deliver to organizations that are doing it really well. So with that, I would like to thank you so much for joining today's lightning talk on 4 steps to better people analytics. My name is Sarah Andresen, and I really appreciate you spending the time to speak.
Thank you, Sarah. That was some really great points in there, very valuable for everyone, I think.